What's up, guys? FKA Closer here, and in today's video, I want to talk to you about the behaviors that are stopping you from hitting your sales revenue targets every single month. And here's the thing, it doesn't matter if you're in the I need to use a script camp of people or the I go scriptless camp of people. It doesn't matter, right? Because with the perfect script and your questions down pat, if you don't change these subconscious underlying behaviors, it's not going to be as effective as it can be. And if you're going scriptless, may God help you, but if you are going scriptless and you're trying to go off the cuff and keep it fluid and conversational, again, those things are not bad. But even if you go down that path, if you don't address these behaviors, these subconscious programs, it's not going to be as effective as it can be. So let's have a look at what these behaviors are. Number one, avoiding hard questions. You want to be liked. You want people to accept you. These conversations that we're having when it comes to high ticket sales, it's not about building a friendship. And a lot of people, when they hear the word rapport, they get confused. They think rapport is about, finding common ground and connection. That doesn't mean you're going to make the sale, right? The way you make the sale is by asking hard questions, right? Questions that make the other person think and contemplate and really reflect on what they're going through and where they want to go. But a lot of the times, if you're trying to be Mr. Nice Guy and just have a nice conversation and not challenge people, you're protecting your own ego. And they're just going to leave the call. That's why you keep getting hit with all of those smoke screens. People don't want to make you feel bad, right? But you're having like this surface level conversation. And so you've got to stop that, okay? Behavior number one, stop avoiding tough questions because it is ruining your selling, your ability to sell. It's ruining your earning potential, and most importantly and most devastatingly, it's hurting the other people that you're speaking to, right? They're not getting the solutions that they need. Their families are going to remain stuck, and so you need to really think about that. Why is it happening? And if it is happening, you need to start changing it. Don't be scared of asking the hard questions. Stop avoiding it. Number two, not setting boundaries. What do I mean by that? You're over-promising and you're under-delivering. Like you're sending people proposals, you're sending people payment links, you're sending them, case studies, testimonials beyond what they've already seen with no real commitment on their end, right? And so you need to make it clear for the other person how the call is going to go, how they can purchase from you, what the expectations are. And look, not every call is going to be a one-call close. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is you can't just keep the conversation open-ended towards the end of the call, right? Like you've got to give the person clear expectations, clear boundaries and next steps. Hey, look, I'm happy to send over a proposal, but before I do that, what specifically are you looking for just to make sure that I can send over the right information? You've got to start there, right? You can't just send a proposal. And then, something like, let's assume that I can do that for you, and the proposal dots the I's and crosses the T's. What's the next step from there? Let's say they say, well, I'm in, right? I'll get started. Okay, so what I can do is I can send you the proposal now. What's your timeline on getting back to me just so I can have a clear expectation on my end? Tuesday. Okay, I'll send the proposal on Tuesday now. I'll wait until Tuesday for your response. If I don't hear from you by end of day Tuesday, what should I do then? Right? None of you do this. So you've got to make sure that you're setting those expectations, you're setting those boundaries. And then the final component to that would be, okay, I'm more than happy to follow up with you after that. But just so we're on the same page, if I don't hear back from you by end of week, I'm going to assume it's a no from you and I'll close out the file. Does that sound reasonable? Right? Like, is that an ideal way to end a conversation? Well, it depends. But even with that, at least we have clear boundaries and expectations on both parties' sides. So we know exactly how the follow-up's going to go and what's to be expected. Right? So, like, you've got to set those clear boundaries and expectations. Otherwise, you're going to have a pipeline full of people that are just, floating in the ether. You don't want that. So that's the second behavior. Stop letting people just walk all over you and set the boundaries. You have to set the boundaries. You have to set the expectations. Behavior number 3 that we need to avoid is seeking approval and validation. If you're going to these calls wanting people to like you and you're too scared to be respected, it's going to bring your sales undone. And what I mean by that is you're treating the prospective client like a king or a queen, like you're allowing them to set the expectations, to set the agenda, to control the conversation, to set boundaries around next steps. Like they have to convince you that their pain's worth solving, right? It's not the other way around. Like they only have money, which is nothing, right? They just keep printing more of the stuff. It keeps losing purchasing power because of overinflation. So they don't have really anything of worth or value. However, you, the company you represent, has the solution to their problems. So you need to always remember that dynamic, right? And so, like, don't be afraid to challenge people, show your expertise, disagree with them, challenge them. People respect that. And that's how you become what a lot of people in this industry like to coin the term or the phrase, a trusted advisor. It's not because you're trying to be liked or build friendships. You're happy to challenge people. You're happy to assert yourself because you know it's in their best interest. So make sure you're doing that. The next one is you're not taking ownership. You're not taking ownership of your process. You're not taking ownership of the sale, of your wins, your losses. You're blaming other people. You're deferring your authority elsewhere. And if you're doing this, this is probably why people keep hitting you with a partner objection, because it's the same thing. They don't want to take ownership. They do not want to make a decision. And so they defer to a third party authority. And so if you find yourself doing that, not just in a sales conversation, but in other areas of your life, you need to stop that. Because again, what I've said in many other videos and work with my clients, the objection that you believe in, that you feel is valid, is the one that you cannot overcome yourself. So start taking ownership, right? If you're having a hard time with your sales career right now, if you're not crushing it, then it's your fault. If you are crushing it, it's also your fault. But the person that starts blaming everybody else is the person that's going to fail ultimately, and nobody likes that person. So again, don't be that guy or girl. The next one is failing to close the deal. So you've probably had a great discovery, you've asked all the right questions, you've challenged, you haven't let them get away with non sequitur answers. But when it comes time to actually ask for the sale, you freeze up, you hesitate, you keep it open-ended, and, a powerful conversation fizzles out into nothingness. And then again, you've got this sort of pipeline filled with people that are kind of in this weird, ambiguous, void. You don't want that, okay? So what you need to do is you need to have a very clear process of how you ask for the sale. So that way you can make sure that, like, all of the good work that you've done upstream in the conversation prior is not a moot point, and it's actually leading to a powerful close. So if you don't have a process and you want a process, reach out to me. That's something that we can definitely work on. Schedule a one-on-one call with me. Those calls go for 1 hour, and essentially what I'm doing on that call is I'm running an audit and a diagnosis of what the major 1, 2, or 3 leaks are in your sales process. And then I'm giving you frameworks and word tracks and flows to use on your next calls. So that way you can start making sales this week and change some of these bad behaviors. So if you don't know how to close a deal, maybe you should schedule a call with me. But that's another one that I see often. It sounds crazy, but you need a process that is repeatable, right? You shouldn't have to think at the close. It should just be automatic. So if you don't know how to do that, talk to me. Now, this is the last one, and it's huge. You do not handle objections. You have everything else in your conversation down. It's all dialed in, but the minute an objection comes up, you don't address it, or you address it in a way where it's super weak. You're not closing that door sufficiently enough, and you let the person off the hook. And so if this is you, I really encourage you to start practicing your objection handling and ensuring that for every objection, you have at least 2, 3, 4 angles of how you can approach that and how you can loop that. Because the big mistake that I see people make, it's twofold. Number one, they're not handling objections at all sufficiently. And number two, they handle multiple objections at once. And what I mean by that is they essentially have one objection come up and they kind of handle it, but they're not closing the door completely. And then the prospective client says something else, and then they go immediately to that other thing. And so when it comes to objection handling, first and foremost, get amongst it, expect it. Don't try and go for this objectionless close. It doesn't exist. Train hard, fight easy. And so expect it. If you have a close where there are no objections, good for you. Well done, must be nice. But that's the first thing is, it's part of your process. You should know it just like you know your script. You should have 2, 3, 4 angles to approach each major objection with. And from there, you should know that, hey, I don't move on to the next objection until I close the door on this first one and we get agreement. Okay? So those are the behaviors that you guys need to really start taking an audit of. If you're suffering from any of them, let me know in the comments below how that's showing up, what your plans are to address them. And overall, I hope that you found that this video has been valuable for you. Like always, until next time, happy selling.